with Jon Rahm. John, obviously a pretty speechless finish there for a lot of us on Sunday. You enter this week second in the FedEx Cup standings, fourth appearance here at East Lake. Just talk about being back in Atlanta and the challenge that this golf course represents.
Mm-hmm. It's well, first of all, excited to be here. Excited to be somewhere inside the top five and so high up, right? It's the highest I've entered this week, so really looking forward to it. Feeling good on the game. I would say this golf course is a challenge all throughout. There's not one category I would say that stands out, right? Every part of your game needs to be solid, but with those Bermuda fairways, Bermuda grass, mainly the Bermuda rough, if you can keep it on the fairway, you'll be able to be a lot more aggressive to certain pins, and for the most part, obviously, have a lot more control. It's usually, you need to ball strike it good, and you need your putting to be on point as well. So it's kind of like last week, right? It's not one of those where you can somehow have a weak spot and win it. You have to play good all throughout, and if you don't happen to hit it that good, that's how much better the putting and chipping needs to be. So it's a tough week. It's a tough challenge. Usually it's really hot and humid. It's easy to get tired, especially after how much golf we've played. So it's a battle. But the good thing is everything that we've done till now doesn't matter, and it's a winner-take-all situation. So objective is pretty clear.
And then just going back to last week, given the unique format here,
Mm-hmm.
You went from if you would have started this week ninth in the standings, you go from starting this tournament at 4 under par to now to 8 under par. So you pick up 4 strokes, starting Friday morning after the win at BMW. Just talk about with the unique format here this week, how huge that was.
Yeah, I mean, you still need to play really well, even though you start with a lead. It's as simple as that. I mean, there's a lot of people behind us, not too far behind. If I made up 3 strokes in one round, 4 strokes over 4 rounds is not that many. So it's a nice little cushion, but at the same time, it was the goal, right? When I started last week, especially with the 75 in the first round, I was like, well, I would think I was 9th in the standings at that point, 9th or 8th, somewhere there. And my goal was just to try to get into the top 5. That's all I had in mind. And I was watching, right, especially on Saturday when I finished and I saw I would have gone a little bit higher up. And then on Sunday, every time I kept making a birdie, I was slowly moving up and moving up and moving up. And then, I knew with how well Dustin was playing, I wouldn't get the number 1 spot. But obviously, I was trying to finish as high as possible, knowing that being in the top 5 is crucial. It's a big difference, especially, it's always going to be a big difference. I know if you're 7th, 8th, 9th, it's the same score. So if you're in that area, it doesn't really matter. But every time you can get a little bit closer, it's obviously going to be not an easier path, but obviously a better spot to be in. So I'm glad it ended the way it did, and I'm glad to be in this situation right now.
Perfect. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna start with questions in English for the first few minutes here, and then we'll go back and do some in Spanish. So just when I call on you, go ahead and take yourself off mute and put yourself on video. So we'll start with you and Murray.
Thanks, Michael. Question in Scottish first as well, if you don't mind. John, I hope you're well. You guys are obviously playing for a serious amount of money this week. 15 million first prize, 60 million total pot. In the context of everything that's happened in the world in the last 6 months, is that okay? Are you comfortable with that, or do you think golf has to be a little bit careful that it doesn't seem out of touch with the kind of vast amounts of money that are involved?
Well, I mean, we can't control what happens in the world, and I certainly can't control how much we played for. Truth is, the PGA Tour and many PGA Tour players do an outstanding job with the platform that we have to help communities all around the country, right? We play 40-plus weeks a year, and each week we help a community. So, no, I don't feel guilty. I myself have donated a lot throughout my 4 years on tour to a series of sometimes natural disasters or different things where people might need help. And I think that's where the PGA Tour comes in at most, right? I mean, how much money is being donated throughout the years thanks to PGA Tour events and how many communities we've been able to help. So I think there's a bigger picture than just how much money one player gets. And honestly, in my case, if I were to win, yeah, the money's great, but I think we're all here to try to be the best. And that is much more enticing than anything else. Now, with that said, 15 million, well, I would comfortably say, hopefully, if I manage it properly, my kids and possibly my grandkids and even my great-grandkids may have their way paid through college. So, again, it's a much more about a bigger picture of what the platform that the PGA Tour has and what we can do with it than the material meaning of it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. We'll do Dan Moriarty with CNN.
Hey, John, thanks for doing this. Appreciate your time. The top 3 players in the world rankings mirror the FedEx Cup standings entering the Tour Championship here. What is it about these playoffs that's bringing out the best in your game?
I don't know. I can't tell you, honestly. One.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Next, we'll go with Brian Wacker, Golf Digest.
John, sorry about that.
Oh, there you go.
Two quick questions. First, just a scouting report on Winged Foot. It looked like you went there yesterday, and just your impressions of it and so forth.
Well, I honestly went because it didn't seem like flying from Chicago to Phoenix, spend one day at home, and flying all the way to the East Coast to then fly back for 5 days to then fly back to New York. Just didn't seem like the best thing to do for my body. So yeah, we went. I had Kelly as my caddy for the day, and I just wanted to see the golf course, at least get a feel of the layout, some of the tee shots, just so when I go on the U.S. Open, it's not all brand new. And I did play it early in the morning and rainy, so the first 8 holes were extremely, extremely long. That's all I can say. It was also softer than what they're expecting to have the U.S. Open, so I didn't spend much time putting or chipping around the greens just because they were a lot slower and softer, and some shots were obviously a lot easier than they're going to be on a U.S. Open. So I was just trying to get the idea on the lines of the tees and just familiarity with the golf course. All I can say is a heck of a golf course. I mean, I had the greens kind of gave me an Oakmont vibe, extremely difficult, extremely undulated. But I think all 16 out of the 18 greens are all sloped back to front. There's always a run up on the front. So at least it seems a little more fair than Oakmont might look. You can hold all the greens, even don't need to hit a perfect shot. It's just a difficult course. It's long, it's narrow, it's undulated. You just need to play really good golf. I'm not shocked that the winning score last time was 5 over par. And if it gets firm, like some of the USGA guys told me they want it to be, I don't see how any of us shoot under par. Or if we shoot under par, it would be somebody winning by a lot.
And then just secondly, there are a number of players kind of in the Player of the Year race. Yourself, Dustin, Webb, JT. Who would be your pick, I guess, put you on the spot for Player of the Year?
Well, we have JT, Dustin, Webb, me, and Morikawa with 2 wins, right? And Brandon Todd. Morikawa does have a major. JT has a WGC. Everybody's won great events. I will say, being as fair as possible, I think it comes to if any one of us wins this week. That's what I would say. And it seems like pretty much all those names I said are 1 through 6 on the FedEx Cup, right? So you like the chances of that. So I think that's what it comes to. Who gets that elusive third win? Hopefully it's me. I hope. But yeah, if any of those names that I just said wins it, I think there will be a deserving Player of the Year. I know Brendan Todd has won twice as well. I don't want to forget about that. But again, I would say whoever wins out of what I've named will be a deserving Player of the Year.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go with Steve Hummer with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, John. A couple questions about playing with Dustin again so soon after the playoff. Is that an exciting prospect for you? And do you think you bring out the best in each other?
I think so. We've played together a lot, and I do think we bring out the best in each other. I mean, Dustin is a great guy to play with. He's very similar game to mine. We actually see shots very similarly, shot shape and strategy. So I usually like playing practice rounds with him because, I can learn a little bit. But he's fast, he's quiet. He's fun if he wants to talk. His caddy, AJ, is really fun as well. So it'll be a good environment. I mean, I think, I wouldn't be surprised if we both play really good this week by playing together. I honestly don't think he's thinking about last week at all, knowing him. He probably moved on as soon as that playoff was over. So, I'm expecting him to come in with fireworks and come out strong.
And as a guy who is kind of an emotional player, what do you take away watching someone like him who is so low-key outwardly on the course? You take anything away from that?
No, because we're different people. I will never be able to do what he does, and I don't think he can do what I do, right? Meaning I wouldn't be able to play so nonchalant like he is. If I hit a bad shot, you're going to be able to tell, and if I hit a good shot like I feel on Sunday, you'll be able to tell as well. So I don't know. And he also wouldn't be able to, play with what goes in my head. So I don't know. Obviously, the steadiness has helped him be an extremely consistent player and win a lot. So if I had something to say, obviously, with what I do, still maybe take care of certain aspects of my mental work on the course. But I think I've done a really good job, especially in the playoffs, especially that Sunday. I mean, I did hit bad shots. I hit shots. I missed shots. I probably hit one of the worst wedge shots I could hit on 11 from 82 yards to about 30 feet straight into the wind. I didn't hit my best shots, but still stayed focused on the task in hand and got it done. So I know there's going to be some setbacks in my future. I wish it was a perfect progressive curve all the time, but it's not going to be. So I'm aware of that, but I know I'm improving. So if anything I can take from him is that just perseverance and the stillness he has, which, even under pressure, he can maintain that composure and that coolness and get it done. Because what he did with a few holes to go, get that up and down on 17, hit that shot on 18 and make the putt, it's a mark of a true champion. So there's a lot to learn from him.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Steve. Next we'll go Rex Hocker, Golf Channel.
John, have you had a chance to watch what happened Sunday, the fireworks, your putt, everything that went into it? And if so, what were your emotions watching?
I still can't believe it. It's as simple as that. I played one of the most solid 18 holes I've played in a very long time. Missed 2 fairways, missed 1 green, and had a lot of good birdie looks. And just solid and calm. And I had a lot of fun out there. And, for everything to finish the way he did, it's hard to believe, right? When they made that putt at Torrey Pines, I never thought I would ever get a moment like that on the golf course. And luckily enough, I've been able to. So it's hard to explain, honestly. I can't. I think the one feeling I go back to is just the satisfaction of winning more than once on the PGA Tour one year, finally, after 3 of being close many times and only doing it once. Being able to win multiple times this year, it's a goal I had set out for myself, and I'm really excited. So that's where my mind keeps going to. But it's hard to explain the emotions of the moment because, my reaction says it all. That's all I can say. I mean, it's a pretty unique feeling. You dream of moments like that, and to have been able to do it, it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rex. Next we'll go with Steve DeMeglio, USA Today.
Hey, John, what does it say about the PGA Tour that while other sports leagues have struggled, some of them have work stoppages, what does it say about the PGA Tour, the traveling circus around the United States, has done so well since you've come back from the COVID-19 break? Who is that a testament to? How have you guys done it?
I think it's a testament to everybody involved in the event. Everybody on the PGA Tour for supplying everything we need to make sure we're not putting ourselves at risk. And then, yes, we do have a bubble, but not everybody's staying at the same hotel. We're staying in houses. You can still go to restaurants. You got to find food somehow. I think it's a testament to all the players and caddies out there that have been as careful as possible to have so many individuals go in different places, different weeks, and still stay clean for so long. We see other sports struggling with it, and we all keep that mindset even when we go home. I mean, me, myself, my life right now is basically a bedroom, either in my house, a house on the road, or a hotel, golf course, airport. That's what my life consists of right now. And me and my wife, Kelly, are doing that every single week. And I think everybody's doing the same thing, even when we go home, right? You go home, I would like to hang out with my friends, and I would like to do a lot of things and go to a restaurant and have some, have a good time and a weekend off, but I can't. You can't risk it because I know I can test positive and, indirectly put somebody else in danger. So I don't want to do that. And I think everybody, not only the 30 here, but the 150 that have shown up every single week have had that mindset. And I mean, how many positives have we had? Less than 10? Something like that?
11.
Yeah. Out of how many thousands of tests we've done, it's clear that if you do what you're supposed to do, sports can go on. At least on the athletes' part. Obviously, the spectators, it's a lot harder. There's a lot of masses, but sports could go on if the athletes are do what they're supposed to do, and I think we're a perfect example of it.
Are you surprised that we got this far so far?
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw all these, pretty much 20% of the tests were positive countrywide, almost worldwide, and with how many other sports were having trouble, I was certain, especially after Harbortown, I was just keeping in mind, I'm like, nobody should be surprised if one week we show up and there's 30 positives. I mean, nobody should. And I'm shocked that we got 7 one week, and I think that was Travelers after Harbortown, and since then, I mean, you have very few cases. Sometimes it's even false positives that test negative after the fact as well. So, again, I think we should congratulate each other and everybody else for the good job we've done, because I am surprised we've been able to go on without any single problems.
Thank you very much, John.
We got time for just 2 more. We're going to go with Sean Martin, PGAtour.com, and then we're going to finish with 1 question in Spanish.
Hey, John, Justin Thomas last year talked about that, the 2-shot lead starting the tournament, the way that affected him more than he thought it would. Just curious what your thoughts on the format last year was, if it affected you, and do you see it pursuing it all being possibly a help versus leading, for the last 4 days, basically?
So I couldn't hear you part of it. Is it the contrast of the formats, or?
How did it affect you last year at all, just starting kind of pursuing? And then JT said the format affected him more than he thought it would. Do you think there's an advantage to pursuing versus being the leader for, going into the event, even though it's a small lead? Oh,
there's a difference, yeah, because, I mean, you essentially have the pressure of the FedEx Cup on your shoulders 4 days in a row, even though, you still need to play really good golf for 4 rounds. It's in your mind, right? And, I mean, we're constantly getting reminded, you're number 1, you're number 2, or you're number 3. So I think if you're behind, it almost helps, just because you have you already know where the leader's at. On the past, with the old format and all the point differences and all that, you knew that if you were top 5, you could win, but then you had all these millions of possible combinations of, if this person does this and this does that, and it was a little more confusing for us and for the fans. So I think there's more pressure on whoever is number 1 this way, but the objective and what you need to do is clear, right? If you are whatever score you're at is where you're going to finish. So it's as simple as that. It hasn't affected me. I mean, last year I came in, I think I was in 6th. Started good the first day. I was playing with Rory, who ended up winning by 4. And after the first round, I just didn't play very well. So I got what I deserved. But at least, like I said, right? You know where you're standing. You know where you have to go. It's as simple as that. I think we all have the same goal when we come in, which is, if you're not leading, or even if you're leading, try to have the, lowest 4-round total, and that would most likely guarantee you're going to win if you're up there. So I know that's what Rory did last year. That's what I'm going to try to do this year. And the main difference is, the objective is clear. I think it's easier to understand for us, for the fans, and at the end of the day, we're entertainers. So whatever's easier to understand for everybody.
Thank you.
All right, real quick with Adam Shupak with Golf Week, and then we'll move to 1.
Hey, John, East Lake was the boyhood home of Bobby Jones.
Mm-hmm.
How has this course stood the test of time?
They've done a great job. I mean, I love all these traditional golf courses. There are, if they're not 100, they're close to 100 years old, and it's fun. I mean, it's really fun. You can tell the traditional design, for the most part. all the greens have an arrow open and then they open up in the back. Very sloped. You can tell, obviously, many years ago when the greens weren't as fast, they could put some dicey pin locations out here. Right now they have to be a little bit more careful. And it's always a true testament of good golf course design when, stands the test of time. And if we all started even par this week, usually, somewhere 12, 13, 14 under of wins the tournament, right? So, and that is with absolute perfect greens. Usually when you have greens this good, people are just blowing the roof off the place. So it's a tough golf course. We do have some converted par 5s into par 4s, like it is, I think is 14, the old 5, and still works. It's just a great golf course, and I can't say much bad about it. It's just such a good track design-wise. It keeps you on your toes on every single shot, and you need to think your way around. And even some holes that look easy, right? Like you would think some holes like 3, 4, and 5, where you're like, oh, just put it in the fairway, wedge it on the green, but not on 4, but the other 2, and you make birdie. They're just not the easiest. You need to be really accurate in every single shot.
Is there a hole that you think could be the turning point, kind of like a 12 at Augusta, that everybody's going to have to play well to win?
There's a lot of them. Yeah. I would say, what I've done in the past, I haven't played 14, 15, 16 my best, I would say. And obviously that's a key stretch of the golf course, because then 17 and 18, so if you get a good drive on 17 and 18, you're looking at possible birdies, right? 17, you have a wedge in, and then 18, it's a par 5. You could have up to maybe a 5, 6 iron, depending on the year. So you need to play those holes that are tough, good. If you can play those 3 even par, I think you're getting a stroke on the field at least. So, but there's so many of them. I mean, you can say any single hole on the course, and you need to play good all of them. But in my case, I would say that stretch is probably what I might need to do a little bit better on.